He's zooming.
Alright, here we are with Yakin Quintana. We're going to talk about the book,
Wild at Heart by
alright.
John Eldredge. Honestly, the most interesting thing about this book was just the title. That's it. The title.
Alright, and is there anything you want to tell us about your book? What was it about?
Okay, so this book is about the nature of Christian masculinity. So John Eldredge is a Christian author, and this happens to be obviously a Christian novel. So he talks about how men in America have become passive, passionless, and feminized in different ways because of society, and how the church wants them to be nice people or nice men, and how through society they're not encouraging men to be men, like the typical man of rescuing, being wild and adventurous, and yeah.
Alright, and would you say there's a major symbol or theme in your book?
Well, I don't really think there's a symbol or a major theme in this book because it's nonfiction. But his message was, he wants the reader to know how men are expected to be typical men, to be the typical man, but society is twisting them and feminizing them. And
So it's making them soft in other ways.
yeah, they're making them passive.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's trying to prove how men are natural born adventurers, and they shouldn't be kept away from that, and that he's trying to inspire men to recover their masculine heart, just how God made them. Because in one part of the book, he's talking about how men were made from the mountains.
Okay, so he's trying to kind of use I see what you're coming to. He's kind of trying to use the Bible in some way. Is that like something you included in the story?
Yeah, because he is a Christian author, he does have a lot of scripture and like religious opinions in his novel because he is a religious person. And yeah, so he uses a bunch of verses from Jeremiah, Proverbs, stuff from the Old Testament for the most part.
And would you say there's something you didn't really like about the book? Something you didn't enjoy of it?
Besides everything, if I had to pick one thing that I really, really didn't like, was how he used like his opinions he complained throughout the whole book. Basically, I read it like he was complaining. The only good part I really liked though was the intro. It like, that's why I read it. But then the first two chapters, I was like, what did I get myself into? So I didn't like how he was complaining and how he picked and chose verses from the Bible, and how he was trying to make them into like he was trying to change them to prove his point and like to make them stronger. And how he would like pick his friends or people from his church and
kind of just point them out and use it in examples, or
yeah, like he used their word, because there's in the chapters he'd have different like subcategories. So like, for example, the battle to fight, or a beauty to rescue, the feminine heart, the man's heart, stuff like that. And then in that he would use like different different verses, and different like book sources and
okay, and like
people.
how he uses like people in his story. Would you say this reminded you of something in real life or another book, maybe?
Well, it didn't really remind me of another book, but it did remind me of like the real life church, because he talked about how men choose to be different in church than they are outside of it, and like how men in church are expected to behave proper and civilized and tamed, and it just reminded me about like sitting in church and looking at the dads or just the guys in general, how some of them were just like meant to be like they thought they were above everybody, kind of, in a way. Do you know what I mean?
Like superior is what you're saying.
Superior plumbing, yeah.
Alright, and would Would you recommend this book, or actually, would you say if there was a movie or a recreation from your book, would you have watched it or like chose to read the book still?
I think I would watch it just to see how different it would be from the book, and sometimes seeing things helps understand more like over a text. So like, yeah, I think I'd want to watch it to understand it more. I don't know.
All right, and how about something different, something you might have wanted to change in the book?
Well, again, basically everything, but then I don't know, because there's different things that I did like, not really, but there was a lot that I didn't like. And again, it's like about his attitude and his tone.
Yeah, his opinions.
Yeah, he was really opinionated in this book, and I didn't really like that. So I think I would change. I think I'd make him more professional instead of trying to be cool and like so I guess stubborn. He's really stubborn.
And now, would you recommend this book to somebody else?
I think I would recommend it just so they could agree with me that it's an awful book. But I mean, honestly, it does have some interesting chapters. Some parts are really interesting, like not interesting where it's like, oh, that's cool. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Like I never thought of it that way. Yeah, like that. I think I just want people to read it for that.
Alright, well, here we are finishing up some This Book Wild at Heart. Thank you, Bianca Quintana.
Yeah, you're welcome. No problem. Yeah, thank you for having me. This has been